Welcome to Serving with Success, Smart Snacks Products in School. In this module, participants will learn that Smart Snacks product standards are necessary, the standards for Smart Snacks products, the standards for beverages, how to use the Smart Snacks calculator, and when and where Smart Snacks product standards apply. Nearly one-third of children in America are at risk for preventable diseases such as diabetes and heart disease due to excess weight or obesity. If unaddressed, health experts predict this may be the first generation to live shorter lives than their parents. Improving the nutritional profile of all foods sold in schools is critical to improving the diets and overall health of American children, and ensuring that children from all income levels adopt healthful eating habits. As part of the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010, the new rules for smart snacks in schools affect competitive foods sold in schools, which include vending machines, a la carte lunch lines, and in-school student stores. These snacks and beverages are purchased outside of the regular reimbursable meals provided by the school and compete with the nutritionally regulated national school lunch and breakfast programs.
The intent of the Smart Snacks rule is to really provide kids with those healthier options and to kind of get that conversation started. If the unhealthy options aren't there in the school nutrition environment, they can't select that. What is brought from home is a different conversation. But as far as what's being sold to kids and that marketing and that message, I think this Smart Snacks rule really was a great idea.
Smart Snacks product nutrition standards shall apply to all foods sold outside the school meal programs and throughout the entire school campus, which is considered as all areas of the property under the jurisdiction of the school that are accessible to students during the school day. It includes school stores, snack bars, vending machines, and food served a la carte in the school cafeteria. It does not include areas exclusively used by faculty and staff, such as teachers' lounges. It includes food sold throughout the entire school day, which extends from midnight to 30 minutes after the end of the instructional school day. Smart Snacks product standards do not apply to lunches brought from home, food which is served but not sold, for example, in classroom parties or celebrations, community events, evening or weekend activities at the school, and food fundraisers when food is not intended to be consumed at school. All food sold to students on the campus during the school day is subject to the Smart Snacks standards. Food sold involves an exchange of currency, tokens, or tickets. Smart Snacks standards do not apply to food given to students and are not applicable to food sold to non-students, such as parents or school faculty and staff members. Smart Snacks product standards are set in line with the nutritional guidelines for school meals. These standards apply to all grade levels. Standards include both general and specific nutrition standards. To be allowed, a food item must meet one of the 4 general nutrition standards in addition to the 6 specific nutrient standards. Specific standards are set for total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, total sugar, sodium, and calories. Standards promote snacks that have the main ingredient listed as either whole grain, low-fat dairy, fruit, vegetable, or protein. To meet general nutrition standards, a product must be whole grain rich, or the first ingredient listed must be a fruit, vegetable, dairy product, or protein food. Or the product must be a combination food containing at least a quarter cup of fruit and/or vegetable. Or the product must contain 10% of the daily value of one of the nutrients of public health concern, that is calcium, potassium, vitamin D, or dietary fiber. Effective July 1, 2016, this criterion will be removed, and allowable competitive foods must be food group based after that date. The Smart Snacks product-specific nutrition standards are: total fat, no more than 35% of calories from fat per item as packaged or served; saturated fat, less than 10% of total calories per item as packaged or served; trans fat, 0 grams of trans fat per portion as packaged; sodium, no more than 480 milligrams of sodium per entree items that do not meet the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program exemptions; no more than 230 milligrams for snacks and side items. This is reduced to no more than 200 milligrams as of July 1, 2016. Calories, no more than 350 calories per entree items that do not meet the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program exemptions; no more than 200 calories per snack and side items. And total sugar must not equal more than 35% of the item's total weight. The USDA Smart Snacks in School website offers resource materials, policy guidance, and other information for implementing the Smart Snacks in School program, including the USDA letter responding to the Congressional Report language from the Fiscal Year 2014 Appropriations Act, questions and answers related to the Smart Snacks Interim Final Rule, and grain entrees related to the Smart Snacks in School Standards, SP 35, 2014. The Alliance Smart Snacks product calculator for food sold to students in school enables the user to determine if a product meets the specific nutrient standards allowable for smart snacks. To use the Smart Snacks product calculator, first indicate whether the product is a snack, side, entree, or beverage. In this example, the product is a snack. If you are unsure what your product is, move your cursor over the blue letter I icon next to each option for examples and explanations of each choice. Make the appropriate selection and click Next Step. Indicate whether the first ingredient of your product is a fruit, vegetable, dairy, protein food, whole grain, or none of the above. To determine this, find the first ingredient on the product's list of ingredients. In this example, the first ingredient is whole grain oats. Therefore, select whole grain. Next, determine whether your product meets specific nutrient standards. To do this, enter the serving size, servings per container, calories, calories from fat, total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, sodium, and sugars as listed on the product's nutrition facts label. The calculator will then indicate whether the product is compliant or not. Next, enter the product brand name, serving size, type of product, and first ingredient. Click Next Step to display the Smart Snacks Product Calculator Results page. This page must be printed and filed with the label of the product to serve as the documentation required by the Smart Snacks regulations. These documents will be requested during your administrative review. In this next example, use the Smart Snacks product calculator to determine if this fruit snack meets the Smart Snacks requirements. First, indicate whether the product is a snack, side, entree, or beverage. This product is a snack. Next, check the ingredient list to determine the first ingredient. In this case, the first ingredient is pears from concentrate. However, this does not mean that the first ingredient is fruit. By moving the cursor over the blue letter I, the calculator shows that for these ingredients, none of the above should be selected because fruit concentrates, concentrated juice, and concentrated purees are considered added sugars. Next, determine whether the product is a combination food with at least a quarter cup of fruit and/or vegetable. In this case, select No. If the package does not indicate the amount of fruit or vegetables contained in one serving of the product, contact the manufacturer for this information. Next, indicate if your product contains 10% of the daily value of one or more of the following nutrients: dietary fiber, calcium, vitamin D, potassium, or none of the above. This product label shows it does not contain 10% of the daily value of any of these nutrients. Therefore, select None of the above. The Smart Snacks product calculator indicates that this product is not compliant and therefore does not meet the Smart Snacks regulations and cannot be sold at the school. The calculator will also provide the reasons why the product is not compliant.
We highly promote the Smart Snacks calculator because it truly is a lifesaver. It takes the guesswork out. You know what to expect, what we will be expecting for the administrative review, because we say right up front we'll be looking for that Smart Snack calculator because it really makes everybody's life easier.
Certain products have been determined by USDA FNS to meet the Smart Snacks products in school nutrition standards based on their ingredient statements and nutrition facts panels. Lists of these items may be found on the MoDESI website. As of July 1, 2014, a list of Smart Snacks products may be found for the following categories: snacks, side items, entrees, and beverages. The Smart Snacks product-specific nutrient standards exemptions for total fat and saturated fat are reduced fat cheese, part skim mozzarella, nuts and seeds, and nut and seed butters, dried fruit with nuts and/or seeds with no added nutritive sweeteners or fat. Seafood is exempt from total fat but is subject to fat and sugar standards. These items are still subject to the trans fat, calorie, and sodium standards. The Smart Snacks product-specific nutrient standards exemptions for trans fat are 0 grams of trans fat per portion as packaged. Products must be labeled as 0 grams of trans fat, that is, those containing less than 0.5 grams, in order to be allowable and consistent with FDA labeling requirements. The Smart Snacks product-specific nutrient standards exemptions for sugars are dried or dehydrated fruits or vegetables with no added nutritive sweeteners, dried fruits with nutritive sweeteners for processing and/or palatability, such as dried cranberries, tart cherries, and blackberries, are still subject to saturated fat, trans fat, calorie, and sodium standards. Dried fruit with nuts and/or seeds and no added nutritive sweeteners or fat are also exempt from total sugar, but are still subject to calories, trans fat, and sodium standards. The following fruit and vegetables are exempt from meeting all nutrient standards: fresh, frozen, and canned fruit packed in water, 100% juice, light syrup, or extra light syrup. Fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables with no added ingredients except water. Canned vegetables with a small amount of sugar for processing purposes. The Smart Snacks product-specific nutrient standards exemptions for accompaniments are: the accompaniments must be included in the nutrient profile as a part of the item served. Examples include salad dressing, butter or jelly on toast, cream cheese on bagels, garnishes, etc. Pre-portioning is not required. An average portion may be determined. Entree items as Smart Snacks products are defined as a combination food of meat, meat alternate, and whole grain rich food, or a combination food of vegetable or fruit and meat, meat alternate, or a meat alternate alone, with the exception of yogurt, low-fat or reduced-fat cheese, nuts, seeds, and nut or seed butters, and meat snacks, such as dried beef jerky and meat sticks. The National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program entree exemption are for entree items only. The entree exemption is for the day the item is served and the next school day after. For example, if the LEA serves chicken patties as the main dish for the National School Lunch Program, this item can be considered an entree and is exempt from Smart Snacks nutrition standards on the day it is served and the next day also. Sugar-free chewing gum is also exempt from nutrition standards. The nutrition standards for beverages vary by grade level and identify the specific types of beverages allowed and address container size. Plain water, whether carbonated or non-carbonated, has no maximum serving size limit. Milk, whether unflavored non-fat or low-fat milk, or flavored non-fat milk and milk alternatives. All have a maximum serving size of 8 ounces in elementary school and 12 ounces in middle and high schools. Juices also have a maximum serving size of 8 ounces in elementary school and 12 ounces in middle and high schools. Whether 100% fruit and/or vegetable juice or 100% juice diluted with carbonated or non-carbonated water and containing no added sweeteners. Other beverages options for high school include low-calorie beverages with no more than 40 calories per 8 ounces and no more than 60 calories per 12 ounces. Calorie-free beverages, such as carbonated or non-carbonated flavored water. Other flavored and/or carbonated beverages containing less than 5 calories per 8 ounces or no more than 20 calories per 20 ounces. Regarding caffeine beverages, elementary and middle school beverages must be caffeine-free, with the exception of trace amounts in naturally occurring caffeine substances. High school beverages have no caffeine restrictions. A no time and place restriction for beverages indicates there are no restrictions on the sale of any allowable beverage at any grade level during the school day anywhere on the school campus. Monitoring and compliance of Smart Snacks sales requires adequate record keeping. The LEA must maintain records such as receipts, nutrition labels, and product specifications. Food and Nutrition Services must maintain records for competitive foods sold under the nonprofit school food and nutrition service. The LEA must maintain records for all other competitive food sales.
What I think that LEAs should also know about Smart Snacks is that it really is not just the food service director's responsibility. The record keeping, the implementation of it, it's not up to that individual to go throughout the entire LEA and find out what fundraiser is being put on, what's being sold. It needs to be a community effort and really have that drive home that administration needs to get on board as well.
State agencies may limit the number of fundraisers that can sell foods and beverages that do not meet nutrition standards. If a limit is not established, then all fundraisers must meet nutrition standards. Fundraising activities that take place outside of school, such as the sale of cookie dough or frozen pizza, are exempt from the Smart Snacks products rule. Distribution of foods not intended for consumption at school may continue. The fundraiser exemptions in Missouri are a maximum of 5 fundraisers per building per school year are allowed. A single exempt fundraiser will have a duration of 1 day. LEAs may do fewer fundraisers or none at all. No exempt fundraiser foods or beverages may be sold in competition with school meals in the food service area during the meal service. LEAs must complete an exempt fundraising tracking sheet annually and maintain it on site.
You can have as many fundraisers as you would like if they meet the Smart Snack guidelines. However, if there is a product that you would like to sell that does not meet, you've plugged it into the calculator, you've established it does not meet, it can fall within your 5 exemptions. And those exemptions are 5 per school year, per school building, with the duration of 1 day. So there is some flexibility with that, but again, it goes back to that tracking and ensuring that everybody's on the same page and that you know what's taking place within your LEA.
State agencies will monitor compliance with standards as part of the state agency administrative review. If violations occur, technical assistance and corrective action plans are required. Now that you have finished viewing Smart Snacks products in school, complete the following brief quiz.